We got in this PC and a lot of people had questions about the GPU sag. Now let's go ahead and talk about it, how to avoid it, and why there wasn't a GPU sag bracket to begin with. Well, first and foremost, so this happened over the course of about 5 years, and these were touted that they did not need an anti-sag bracket because of the giant backplate. When they designed the graphics card, this little edge right here is connected with the screw, and this backplate was supposed to take all of the brunt force. What ended up happening is this tiny thin piece of metal could not compensate for all the weight over here, and this part bent, not the actual backplate, which is why you see kind of a bit of a warping with the PCB. Now, is this going to cause a failure? Most likely not, especially because it's not as bad as you may think on the PCB itself. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people do with an anti-sag bracket is they overcompensate, which is basically the same thing that the GPU sag would do, but in the opposite direction. So what they do is they force it up, and you'll see that you have way more tension over here. It's basically even worse than just GPU sag by itself because you're pushing and creating a lot more tension than just gravity would do on its own. So you're just basically creating the same problem but in the opposite direction. What you want to do is let it lay down and have very, very little sag and making sure that it's completely level. And you can actually use a bubble level or a laser level to make sure that you are. I actually still have the video of me building this PC and there was no sag and it actually felt really solid. But this was the failure point that they did not accommodate for. So make sure that if you're going to use a GPU sag bracket, don't put too much tension, just make sure it's hanging level and there's not any tension against the actual PCIe slot.